Welcome to my Wednesday ramblings. This is week 3 of the message series, What Do You Do When God Isn't in the Place Where You Left Him? Over these first 3 weeks of our Easter season, that question has been arising time and again as the disciples try to understand how to cope with, how to understand what the empty tomb means. He was placed there after he was crucified, and then they return and find the tomb empty. We heard in John's Gospel how Peter and John had been to the tomb. We heard how Mary Magdalene had been to the tomb. And now this week, as we come to Luke's Gospel, we have the disciples coming back from the road to Emmaus, telling them that they had met Jesus on the road and recognized him in the breaking of bread. And then, as last weekend, we heard the story of Jesus in John's Gospel appearing to the disciples, wishing them peace, shalom, and then showing them his hands and sides. We have a similar story in Luke's Gospel this weekend. Another occasion when Jesus, on the night of the resurrection, appears to the disciples, and then he tells them that the Holy Spirit is going to come down upon them. We're finding this story being repeated. Last week it was John's Gospel, where Jesus said to them, receive the Holy Spirit. Now Jesus is telling them to wait and that they will be filled with power from on high. Whatever the story is, if they go looking for Jesus where they'd left him, then they're not going to find him. And so to find Jesus in this new understanding, in the risen Jesus, they need to go to a different place, to meet him in a different space. And that's the challenge that each of us faces. Do we find Jesus in our old way of living, in our old behaviors, in our old practices? Or do we need to find Jesus in a new place? Do we need to find Jesus amidst the world in which we live, among the people with whom we live? Do we need to find him in the present moment? And to do that, we need to have new eyes. We need to be able to look with a new understanding of what God is saying to us in the everyday. So I'd like to pray that as we walk through this coming week and as we prepare for our Sunday liturgy, we might be very conscious that God is inviting us into a very different space, a very different place, a place where we meet the Lord present amongst us, but calling us to see him in our brothers and sisters. Have a great week. I hope your time in this week will be a time filled with hope and joy. And as you prepare for the third Sunday of Easter, that you may know something more of God's immense power and great wonder in the everyday. God bless and take care.